I'm so excited today to show you how to make this pretty flower trellis square. This is a 12-inch square made with red heart with love in 5 colors. I've changed colors every row, but stayed consistent with the same colors that I've chosen for my project. Here's the back. And the front. So it's got a lot of texture. We've got the 3D flower on the front with the petals. And then we've got the green going around. And we have a little bit of raised stitching. So it's a really fun square. It's actually quite quick to make as far as a granny square goes because it's got a lot of double crochets in it, so it makes it get big pretty fast. So I hope you enjoy making this. It's a really fun and versatile square. And let's get started. So I've gone ahead and made the 3D flower, which is rounds 1 through 5. And I've used the color Minty and Aubergine, which is this pretty purple color. It's really a dark purple. So up till now I've used Mint, Red Heart with Love, and Aubergine, Red Heart with Love. And now I'm going to use an off-white Aran color. You could also use white, just plain white. Now round 6, it's pretty simple. We're going to be working in the back of these chain 3 loops behind each petal. It doesn't matter which chain 3 space you start into. So begin with a slip knot on your hook, and we're going to start with a standing double crochet. So yarn over your hook and begin, like I said, in any chain 3 space behind one of the petals. So we'll just go to the next one, and we're going to make a standing double crochet and place 2 more doubles in that same chain 3 space. Chain 1 and go to the next petal behind it in that chain 3 space and place 3 doubles in that same space. There's 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1. 3 doubles in the next, and 3, and chain 1. And we're going to do that in each of the chain 3 spaces behind the flower, and I will see you when we get back to the last space. And finishing my last double in that set of 3, chain 1, and slip stitch into the top of the beginning stitch and end off your yarn. So at this point my square is measuring approximately 6 inches across. Okay, and then what we're going to do now is we're going to turn this circle into a square. So I'm using the color Lettuce. It's like this pretty green. And we're going to make a slip knot. Put that on your hook. And we're going to start in any chain 1 space, doesn't matter where. I do like to start my next round kind of opposite of where my previous rounds were, or not exactly at the same spot as my previous rounds, just so my tails are kind of evenly spread out throughout the square. Okay, so round 7 we're going to make it a square, like I said. So in any chain 1 space we're going to start with a standing double and then another double. In this, we're going to do all this, we're making a corner right now, so in that chain 1 space, 2 doubles, chain 3, and 2 doubles. all in that same space. Okay, then we're going to chain 2, and going into the next chain 1 space, place 1 double there, chain 2, in the next chain 1 space we're going to do double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, chain 2, 1 double, chain 2, and we're making another corner in the next chain 1 space. So there's 2 doubles, chain 3, and 2 doubles, all in that same chain 1 space. And now we've kind of turned that corner. So we're going to do the same thing all the way around the square. So we're going to chain 2, oops, chain 2, 1 double, chain 2, 1 double, chain 1, 1 double, chain 2, 1 double, chain 2, and make another corner. So repeat that, and I'll see you back over here. To end the round, chain 2 and slip stitch to that first standing double crochet stitch and end off your yarn. Here's how it's looking. And mine is pulling in a little bit on these corners here, so it's not completely square yet, but it will be as we keep going. So about 6.5 inches with this last round. Okay, round 8. I'm using this pretty color called Lilac. And with the slip knot on your hook, we're going to begin in any corner, doesn't matter where, but again, like I said before, I like to start not in the same corner where I'm going to be weaving in these tails from the previous round. So I'm going to come over here to the opposite corner, and in between these first two stitches of the corner, okay, there's these 2 stitches, chain 3, and then 2 doubles. Okay, so we're going to be working in between these 2 stitches and in between these 2 stitches. So to begin the round, going not in the top of the stitch, but going in the space, make a standing double. That counts as 1 double crochet, and we need 7 double crochet in that same space. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So they're all in that space between those first 2 doubles of the corner. Now the chain 3 space of the corner, we're just going to insert our hook, yarn over, and pull through, and that's a slip stitch. So slip stitch into that chain 3 space, and now we're going to make 7 doubles in between the last 2 stitches here of the corner. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to skip this chain 2 space, and we're going to slip stitch in the top of that double crochet. We're going to skip the next chain 2 space, coming over here to our double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, and we're going to place 7 doubles in the chain 1 space. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skip the next chain 2 space, slip stitch into the top of the double crochet, and now we're ready to repeat our corner. So we're going to do 7 in this space, slip stitch to the corner, and 7 here, and then continue down the other side. So our repeat is right here, and I will see you back to connect the round. Finishing up my last 7 doubles, I'm going to slip stitch in the top of the next double crochet stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch to my beginning standing double crochet stitch of the round, and then end off your yarn. Here's how it's looking. So these are actually the corners right here in between these sets of 7 doubles, and down here these are the corners. So right now it's measuring approximately 8 inches. Oops. A little shy of 8 inches maybe. Okay. A little bit shy, but if you flatten it out and stretch it, and by the time you block it, it will probably measure closer. Yeah, there's 8 inches right there. Okay, so for the next round, we are using the green again. So put a slip knot on your hook, and we're going to start in any corner. So I'm going to start in this corner, and we're going to start in that chain 3 space with a standing double crochet, and we're working over the previous round, the slip stitch areas. Okay, so we're working over the slip stitch area in the corner. So there's 1 double going in that same space, make another double, and then chain 3, and 2 more doubles in that same space. 1 and 2. So here's my next corner. We're going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to skip these 7 doubles, and we're going to go into that same double crochet stitch down here in the green where we did the slip stitch right here. So we're going to go in that same space, or that same stitch, and we're going to work double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet again in that same stitch, chain 5, and repeat. So skip all of the 7 doubles, come down here to the top of that double crochet down below, working over that slip stitch, and make a double, chain 1, and double in that same stitch, chain 5, and now we're at the corner, and we're going to repeat the corner. 2 doubles, chain 3, and 2 doubles in that same space, and that's our second corner. Here's how it's looking. So we've got these big giant chain 5 spaces and our 2 corners. So go ahead and repeat that sequence all the way around your square, and I'll see you back over. Finishing up round 9 with the chain 5 and slip stitch to the top of that beginning standing stitch and end off your yarn. Pretty. Okay, and it should be measuring about 8.5 inches at the end of this round. Now for round 10, I'm using the color Minty, and this is the color that I started with in the center. Okay, and with the slip knot, we're going to be repeating basically round 8, but the only difference is we're going to be moving these chain 5. I mean, there's a little bit of difference, but basically it's the same. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start the same way in the corner between the two doubles, right? So we're going to put 7 doubles in there, starting with a standing double, and then 6 more. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then slip stitch into that chain 3 space. And again, going between the next 2 doubles of that same corner, we're going to do 7 more doubles. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so now we're going to be working across this top here. So we're going to move the chain 5 to the front, and we're going to skip 3 of these doubles, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of the 4th double, and then we're going to just skip over here to the chain 1 space and do 7 doubles, just like before. So the only difference is where we're putting that slip stitch from that other round that's very similar. Okay, so there's 5, 6, and 7, and bring that chain in the front. And let's see here, 1, 2, going into that 4th double, make a slip stitch, and then repeat 7 doubles here in that chain 1 space. And there's 4, 5, 6, and 7. Slip stitch to that 4th, double crochet, and now we're back at this corner and going into those first, in between those first 2 doubles on the corner, and we're going to repeat 7 doubles, slip stitch in the chain 3, and then 7 doubles over here, and then repeat down the other side. Okay, so it looks kind of funny right now that these are kind of hanging down here, but on the next round we will bring them up and secure them in. So just let them hang out right now. Okay, so I'll see you back over here. Finishing my last stitches here, slip stitch to the 4th, and then skip on over and connect to that first standing double with a slip stitch. And then go ahead and end off your yarn. So here's how it's looking. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Alright, so the measurement now should be approximately, for round 10, 9.5 inches. Okay, so it's about 9.5 inches. And now round 11, we're going to use the green again. And round 11 is very similar to round 9, just a little bit of a change again on this round. So I'm going to start over here in this opposite corner. So round 11, in the corner we're making a standing double, another double, chain 3, and 2 doubles in the same space. chain 5. Now we're skipping over the 7 and we're going to be working into the chain at the same time as we're going to go into that same double, the 4th double in that previous round. We're going to go right in there. So we're first going to pick up the chain. So we're going to count the chains to the 3rd. There's one over here. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to pick up the back loop, just the back loop, and go into that same stitch as the slip stitch in the previous round. And I'm going to do double crochet, chain 1, going through the same exact stitches and making another double crochet. So that's going to hold my chain 5 loop up from down here. So now chain 5 again, skip all of that, go to my 3rd chain, and then go into that same stitch, that 4th double below, and make my double there, chain 1, go in that same exact space, going through the chain and the stitch again, and make my other double. And that's the repeat. Chain 5, skip over, go in the back loop of my 3rd chain, and then going into that same double where my slip stitch is, and then make my stitch. So there's one double, chain 1, go in that same exact area, and make another double. Now I'm at my corner, so I'm going to chain 5, and then kind of rotate my square now, it's getting bigger. Getting over here to my corner space, my chain 3 space, again working over that slip stitch, we're going to make another corner, which is 2 doubles, chain 3, and 2 doubles in that same space. 1 and 2. And then repeat that all the way around. So it's going to be holding these chains up instead of having them just be floppy. Okay, so now they're going to be held in place. And it gives it a lot of texture too. Super pretty. Okay, so repeat that all the way around and I'll see you back over here. My last 5 chains, skipping over and slip stitch to the beginning standing double crochet or the beginning stitch and end off your yarn. So here's the square. That's how it's looking. Okay, and it should measure approximately 10 inches. So it's pretty close, 10 inches, around 12. Begin with a standing half double crochet stitch in the corner, any corner, and then place one more half double in that same stitch, and then we're going to chain 3 and 2 half doubles in the same corner space. Oops. Alright, now we're going to do 1 half double in the next stitch and 1 half double in the next. Now we're at our 7 doubles down here and our chain 5. So in this round we're going to work in the back loop of each of these chain 5s along with the second stitch through the 6th. So there's one over here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to skip the last one. We're going to skip the first one and the last one. The first one's way down here. So we're going to put our first stitch right here. And we're going to be working half double crochets this round. So go into your chain, go in that first chain, the back loop only, Then come down to your doubles and find the second stitch and go in the back loop. And then yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through all three. So that's your half double. So we're going to repeat that 5 times. So find that back loop of the next chain, back loop of the next double, and make a half double right there. Okay, so there's 2, back loop, there's 3, four, and 5. And that's going to hold this chain up across that scallop there, or those 7 doubles. Okay, and then next we're going to work into that chain 1 space and just work 2 half doubles in there. And now we're ready to do it again, meaning back loop of the first chain, find your second stitch right here, and half double. Go on the next one, find the next back loop, and half double. So if you're having trouble finding that second stitch to go into, let me show you again. Oops. 4 and 5, and then 2 in the chain 1 space. Okay, so now we have another set to do. So when you're looking at your double crochets, that first stitch is way over here. It's pretty much covered up by that double crochet here, that green one. So this is your first stitch right here, way down here. So the second stitch is pretty much the first stitch that you can readily see and readily get your hook into easily. So when you're going in the back loop of your chain, and then the back loop of the second stitch, and then you can count, so that would be your second stitch, so that, and you want to do 5, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that last stitch would be that would be the one you would skip. So you're skipping the last stitch and you're skipping the first stitch. So skipping that first stitch down here and the last stitch over here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches to go into. Okay, and then going in the back loops of these and the back loops of your chains. And that's probably the hardest part of this row, in my opinion, is just knowing where to put your hook. Because we're doing a simple half double crochet, it's just knowing where to place your hook. And once you know where to put your hook, you guys will get it no problem. Okay. And then 2 in the next stitch, or chain 1 space, excuse me. And now we have one last area to do. Go in the back loop, come down, and then once you've done it a couple times, you're going to know, okay, well, this one's way over here. And basically you're just trying to center your 5 chains across the 7 doubles, okay? So that's why I said skip the first one, skip the last one, and just place it evenly across the center of that scallop. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, I was twisting my work there. So careful not to twist your chain. 4, and this is where we joined, so it gets a little twisted there. And the last one, 5. Okay, so now we're at the end of the row, and what we're going to do now is we're going to place a half double in the next stitch and a half double in the next. And then we're at the corner, we're going to do 2 half doubles, chain 3, and 2 half doubles. And then we're going to start the next side. Don't forget to put a half double in these 2 stitches right here. Okay? Alright. So here's how it's looking. Let me show you the back. I haven't been showing you the back. So here's the back. Okay. Alright. So again, just repeat this sequence all the way around your square. I'll see you back up here. Ending the round with 1 half double in the next 2 stitches, and slip stitch to your beginning standing half double crochet stitch, and end off your yarn. So here's how it's looking. Isn't that pretty? And then the back. So this is round 12, and it should measure 10.5 inches. So by the time you block it, it should be good. Okay. And the next round, round 13, is with the lilac. And we're going to begin in any corner. And we are going to be working 2 double crochets, so make your standing double and another double in the chain 3 space, chain 3, and 2 doubles in that same corner. Okay, and we're going to skip the next stitch, which would be right here in this corner, and we're going to come over to the next stitch, and then we're also going to be working in the 3rd back loop of each stitch across, but skipping that first one. So come over to the 2nd one, and there's a little horizontal line going across the back. Looks like another V down here. I know it's hard to tell, you can't really see it in this color. Okay, let me see. So we have the V on top, which is right here. And then we're going to come down, and there's another place to pick up your stitch. There's no, to insert your hook. So we're going to go in there. So it's behind the V. Oh, and I'm skipping too many. Okay. So I skipped the first stitch right here. Here's my 2nd stitch. Here's the V. I'm going to come back down in the back, insert my hook there, and make my double crochet. So that's a double crochet in the 3rd back loop. So we're going to do that all the way across, make a double crochet in the 3rd back loop. Picking up that, insert my hook in that back, 3rd back loop. So what that does is it gives you a row of V's going across the front, just gives you a little bit more texture. I'm at my corner again, and I'm going to work 2 doubles, chain 3, and 2 doubles. And then skipping that first stitch on the right out of the corner, going into that 2nd stitch. And repeat across. And so we're going to repeat this all the way around our square. Finishing up my last stitch here on round 13. And then go ahead and slip stitch to your beginning standing double and end off your yarn. So here's how it's looking. And the measurement now should be about 11.5 inches. Okay. So for round 14, or actually I would like to mention, if your square, I should have mentioned this before we did round 13. Round 13, you can change this stitch depending on how your square is working out. If your square is too small, you can make round 13 a treble stitch. Or if your square is too big already, then you can make it a half double again, like we did, or you could do a single crochet here. Okay, and then if you need a lot more width for your square, you could do 2 rows of double at this point and then do the final round. So there's ways to get it to the right size if your gauge is a lot different than mine. Okay. Okay, so for the final round, we're going to work single crochet. So in the corner, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that's a standing single, chain 1, and single in the same corner space. Alright, and now on the sides, we're going to work 2 singles, and then we're going to do 2 singles in the stitch, and then 1 single between the next 2, and then 1 single in the next stitch, and again in the next, and then 1 single between the next 2. Okay, and then we're going to just repeat that all the way across. So 1, 2 in the top, and then 1 below. And it's going to make a really nice little pattern here where every once in a while it's going to come down. And if you don't like that, you can just do singles all the way across in the top of each stitch. Coming up to my next corner, there's my 2 singles in the top of the stitch, go in between in the next 2 stitches, and then I have 1 stitch left before the corner, so go ahead and put 1 single there. And now in our corner we're going to do single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet. That's our corner. And then turn our work, and we're going to repeat the same sequence down the next 3 sides. Isn't that pretty how it makes that little I'm getting tired. How it makes that little lower stitch there. Alright, so just go ahead and repeat that all the way around. Same exact thing. And I'll meet you back over here. Finishing my last couple stitches. And then go ahead and slip stitch to your beginning single crochet. And here it is. Go back more? No. So let's see. It's right at 12 inches. Right at 12. So by the time you block it, it'll just hopefully lay very nice. Okay. Here's the back. And then just go ahead and weave in that last end. I try to weave in my ends every round, every 2 rounds or so. I hope you've enjoyed making this flower trellis square with me today. It's been so much fun showing you how to make this. I can't wait to see your squares, and let me know if you have any questions on this. Please, if you could like, share, and subscribe to my channel, or if you're on my website, please sign up for my newsletter, and let's stay in touch. So thank you so much for crocheting with me today, and have a wonderful day.